Professor Jammeh wrapped up activities on Wednesday, meeting delegates attending the 35th Congress of the Africa Travel Association ATA. The delegation, led to the State House by the Minister of Tourism and Culture, have used the 4-day Congress to discuss thematic issues affecting tourism on the continent.
I believe that our issues, the barriers to tourism success, for us to actually take tourism to another level, is very common within Africa. Now, I identify 3 areas. First is destination marketing. We are not doing very good at that, to aggressively market our destination. Another thing is the products we sell. Our products, most of it, we've been doing it over and over again. It's high time we look at product re-engineering.
The highlights of ATA Gambia 2010 has been the very successful collaboration between the public and private sector. As we indicated, it was at the request of Sheraton Gambia that ATA came to Gambia. But however, once the decision was made, you, on behalf of the Gambia government, made the contribution. And then it was then left to the private sector to run with it.
It is the second time the Gambia is hosting the Congress, and it is this time craving for solutions to the contentious issues of airline access and proper networking to attract investment in the hospitality industry in Africa.
We made a few historical announcements for the association, one of which will help the association after 35 years have more of an Africa presence and leadership, which is an MOU that was signed with the African Union. The MOU establishes a partnership between ATA and the African Union, whereby ATA will now be the partner with the AU to promote tourism to Africa, working within the framework of NAPAD.
The MOU signed between ATA and the African Union has failed to change existing realities in terms of air connection between African countries.
Air travel within Africa is not part of the agenda of the AU. I've been quarreling for the past 7 years that to go to Ethiopia sometimes for a summit, the AU summit, somebody who lives here and goes to London will reach Ethiopia before you who want to travel within Africa. And I've always raised this issue that there cannot be integration without means of communication.
The emphasis is, however, going beyond the routine to bring the hospitality industry in Africa the vast ranges of benefits of tourism.
It is tourism that is contributing significantly to the maintenance of international peace and understanding. All what we have today as problems are a result of cultural misunderstanding. The fact that there is a wall separating different cultures and which prevent communication. I think before all of you came here, you might have read a lot of things about the Gambia. Maybe some of you might be doubting why on earth would we be holding ATA meeting in such a country. But today that we are here, maybe what you've read and what you've seen for yourself are 2 different stories.
The President picked up from the representative of the South African government to declare Gambia's and his personal support towards South Africa FIFA 2010 World Cup. The Ministers of Basic and Secondary Education and Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, Fatou Lamin Faye and Mamadou Tangara respectively, were unanimous in their call for a change of landscape in tourism in Africa. Tangara in particular drew attention to the negative campaign directed at some destinations countries on the continent. Abdunjai, GRTS.
The Vice President has been speaking about the giant strides the Gambia is making to turn the Smiling Coast into an interesting, attractive and developing travel and tourist destination. Dr. Alhaji was speaking Monday morning during the official opening of the highly publicized 35th Congress of the Africa Travel Association, ATA. GRTS's Famara Fofana reports the Congress will discuss travel and tourism matters and avail the Gambia the opportunity to showcase its rich culture and heritage and holiday delights.
The Smiling Coast opening its arms to hundreds of local and international stakeholders in the travel and tourism industry, as Banjul play host to the 35th Annual Congress of the Africa Travel Association. Although the second of its kind to be staged in the Gambia since 1984, ATA's 35th Annual Congress, which is coming after a vigorous publicity campaign, is being held on a theme, Sustainable and Responsible Tourism in Africa. The high-level convergence is also coming at a time when Banjul prides itself as a tourist heaven, with our people renowned for a hospitality that spans ages and continents. Aliu Seka is chairman, Africa Travel Association's 35th Annual Congress Host Committee. He shared with the delegates the sort of public-private partnership that culminated in the event's hosting.
We must try to put the tourism and travel industry back on shape so that when we leave Gambia, we leave that we've had a successful 4 days, not only to sample the good things in the Gambia, but also that we will leave here having had and met some good objectives. Let me perhaps dare you, Your Excellency, Madam Vice President, and the delegates, that I only have 3 requests, and I hope they are modest ones. That when we leave in the next few days, that we would have resolved that we will have more open borders in Africa, and certainly cut down on the bureaucracies that we have.
For the Gambia's Minister of Tourism and Culture, the hosting once again of the Africa Travel Association Congress by the country speaks volumes about recognition and the growing international confidence in the local travel and tourism industry. The high level of representation, he believes, bears testimony to the importance of the tourism sector.
This development did not happen by accident, but rather as a result of a conscious and deliberate policy of the Gambian government under the visionary leadership of our President, His Excellency Sheikh Professor Dr. Alhaji Yaya A. Jammeh, to utilize the intellectual, human, and material resources to ensure that the Gambia becomes a tourist paradise. This philosophy is born out of the belief that tourism is pivotal to socio-economic development and the alleviation of poverty.
Like anyone else with a first-hand knowledge on the country's hospitality industry, the executive director of the Africa Travel Association alluded to the Gambia's rich cultural heritage. He told delegates that the bonds between the Smiling Coast and his organization are strong.
The Gambia may be the smallest country on mainland Africa, but it is full of a diverse array of leading products, from heritage and culture, art, sculptures, handicrafts, responsible and ecotourism, sea and sun, bird watching, and world-class hospitality. Over the next 4 days, as we've begun to learn, we will have the opportunity and the privilege to experience Destination Gambia for ourselves, and to discover the genuine warmth of Africa under the banner of a theme. ATA is proud to partner with the Gambia in our hallmark event.
Even though the tourism sector remains crucial to poverty reduction and international peace, and despite the fact that the African continent was able to withstand the shockwaves of the global economic meltdown, there still exist challenges that the Africa Travel Association would want to overcome.
Every country still have weak, embryonic, and uncompetitive tourism sectors, and the worst of all is the problem of insecurity to some of our countries in the region.
Delivering a statement on behalf of the Gambian leader, the Vice President Dr. said, not only hope the event will expose delegates to the giant strides that have been made over the years, she equally made reference to the country's foremost development blueprint in relation to tourism promotion.
In recognizing our country's achievements in this fragile industry, I would like to recall that my government's commitment and indeed unflinching support to the tourism and travel trade hinges on our National Vision 2020 of transforming the Gambia into a tourism paradise, thriving on free market policies, and a vibrant private sector that is self-reliant and enterprising, guaranteeing a well-balanced ecosystem and a decent standard of living for all.
The Tourism Master Plan, which is currently being implemented, focusing on the growth, development, and marketing of the Gambia as an interesting, attractive, and tourism destination, is key to the vision's attainment. Meanwhile, delegates in the coming days will be engaged in discussions bordering on marketing and branding, responsible tourism, hotel standards, to name a few. The 35th edition of the ATA Congress will see trips to heritage sites like James Island and Jufre. Destination Gambia is poised to offer the world an array of travel and tourism delights like never before. Famara Fofana, GRTS.
The